Alright, it's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 3:35. What we're doing right now is DTF, direct to film, or direct to transfer film printing. So with the DTG printer, we're actually printing directly to transfer film. So we've got a customer in Montana, has a bunch of funny, different Montana themed logos that they wanted. And they wanted them on transfer film so that they could heat press them later onto different apparel. So this was the first one. It's kind of a play on like the old, well not kind of, it's definitely a play on the old MTV logo. Mountain Television, which is hilarious. So this first one's done printing. The next one I believe is I Love MT or I Love Montana. So what I'm gonna do right now is get the third logo ready. So thankfully this customer actually sent vector files, so it's a lot easier to work with. So I moved it to another sheet. The sheet that the customer actually sent it over, the artwork file itself was smaller. It was probably somewhere around 11 by 8 and it only had one image. So I've already copied it to multiple images, but it looks like I may be able to sneak another row in at the bottom. I just need to get the exact size. Maybe not. It's actually pretty full. I could turn them sideways here, so I could probably fit 2 or 3 more at the bottom, but I think that would be the full 16 inches, which would be too much space. So these individually are going to be 2.5 inches wide by 3 inches long, which is a really good size actually for a left chest print. We're going to export this as a PNG with a transparent background, and it will be ready to go. Now while this one is printing, I want to make sure that the heat press has 2 different cycles, a 20-second and a 90-second. 20-second, it's really 15 to 20 seconds when you actually press the design onto a garment. So this design actually printed really, really well. Yes, so there's actually 16 of their logos on one sheet. And for example, this sheet is $10. So charge them $10 per sheet, which is actually a lot cheaper than our closest competitor is around $12.50, $13 per sheet, and they have a minimum of 20 or 25 sheets that you have to order. So there's no minimum order quantity for us. You can order 1 or 100, it doesn't really matter. It covers everything on our end, and then it's a way better deal for the customer. And with such a small logo, for example, on this customer is getting a great deal. He's paying $10. He'll probably make 10 shirts with that $10. While the ink is still wet, we are going to cover it in this DTF powder. And this powder is similar to what the pre-treat would look like if you were actually doing DTG printing. And pre-treat is a liquid. It's like the powder form basically. It's a good way to think of it. And then we just work that all over the sheet, making sure we're getting the entire designs. So this part is very manual. But honestly, it's not that difficult. You really just want to make sure all of that wet ink is picking up some of this powder, because the powder is going to crystallize when we put it on the heat press, and that's what's basically going to make the adhesive. So that's how you're going to transfer all of this DTG ink, which we normally would have printed straight to a shirt or a hoodie or whatever you're printing. Now it's on the sheet. So if you actually check, the sheet is inverted. Well, it doesn't look like it from that side. This is the side it printed on. It's inverted, and then got the little crystals. So now what we do is we take it back to the heat press for 90 seconds. Now that is going to cure, and while it does that, rinse and repeat. So typically if we're printing shirts or doing DTG, it's really a lot of back and forth. You might see off to the side we've actually got our hat press. So that is a beast. We can do all kinds of different things, from simulating embroidery and 3D puff to the hat I actually am wearing, which is a leather patch, our custom leather patch, which is a whole other machine using a laser to actually cut and design logos onto leather. But while we're going back and forth to print shirts, it's the same type of thing for DTF, the films, or the transfer films. So we've got one done, second one cooking. We gotta hop back onto the computer and make sure the next designs are ready. So typically, if we know what we're printing in the shop, it'll already be set up for the day. But since this was a last minute order, we are going with the flow. So the next one is another, it's like a funny parody or mock-up. So all the lovely colors on one side, those 16 designs, are set out to the side, letting that thing cool down, and then we're actually gonna go through and cut those designs out. Put my little package of nice, neat designs, and we'll ship them that way. All right, so we're only getting 9 on this one. Still $10 per sheet, a little over $1 per design. You get a blank t-shirt for a couple of bucks. He puts this on the chest, boom. He's got a $15 or $20 t-shirt. So this is a vector right now, and what we're actually gonna do is export this as a PNG with a transparent background, because that'll be the easiest way to print it. So this guy's all about Montana, and I love it. This one is called Montang, and you guys will see in just a minute when we print this one out. It's fun. It looks like a play on the Wu-Tang logo. So we'll come back to the printer, and there is an additional piece that goes onto this thing, or replaces it rather. It's like a $600 or $700 DTF or direct-to-film, transfer film. Platen. It has small holes in it with a vacuum that holds the sheet down, and it's also it's got its own power cable, plugs in, and it heats up, so it helps start already curing that ink for you, the first layer. After the second layer goes through, you powder, put it onto the heat press, you're good to go. We don't have that, so there's a small little workaround that we use. That side up. So instead of spending another $700 on that platen, good old Scotch tape. It is cheap, but it is very effective. So in essence, all you really need to do is hold that film in place so it's not bouncing around, and that the print head, or all the movement and commotion of the printer moving above it, doesn't move it. So we have 2 little pieces of Scotch tape, it's held down, and then we just make sure that the print head is auto leveled, and then we'll go back to the computer, open up that design in the RIP software, and hit print, and then that's it really. Keeps doing the same thing. It'll go on there for 90 seconds after we powder it, and then we got to cut them all up and figure out how we're packaging them so that they're travel safe, and then we send them out to the customer. There's a little 1/2 inch margin there. Quick print preview. There we go. And it does look like we could have fit another row, and that's because the printer itself does print longer dimensions, but the transfer film doesn't cover all the way down the platen. There's a few inches at the bottom, so we put too many right here, and you end up printing half of it, wasting ink, and then printing directly onto your platen, which you don't want to do either, unless you're doing a nozzle check. Since this canvas is actually built out to be 12 inches wide and 16 inches long, but the sheet is not 12 inches wide. So it's actually about 1/4 or 1/2 inch from each side moving in. So what we actually are going to do here, 10 inches wide, we're going to move it in about 1/2 inch off of each side. That way it prints onto the sheet and we don't miss anything. So right here should be good. We'll export as PNG. Again, transparent background. Alright, let's see how this is coming out. Not gonna lie, these beards look a little too big. Maybe not, maybe not. That's pretty much it. So the boring part is literally watching the paint dry. The fun part is when you're printing directly under the shirt, you get to see the finished products right away. For these, we actually are going to cut them up, and I may save one design of each for myself just to test, make sure it comes out nice. In fact, we could do something fun. We've got some onesies here from Bella Canvas, and that left chest logo is about the right size to put on a onesie. So how cool would that be that you reach out to us and you just want 4 sheets of 4 logos, put as many as you can, because you're gonna make some shirts yourself off your own heat press, and then we send you a cute little onesie with your new logo right there. Blam! I'm sure people are making babies in Montana, right? All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'll take an extra one of these designs, because I tried to squeeze one extra one in on just about every sheet, going back for the white layer. And I'm gonna actually put that on this onesie and then include that in the package, right? So they'll think they're only getting the 4 sheets, which they are getting the 4 sheets and all their different designs. But I'm also gonna already have one of those designs, probably the MTV looking one, MTN, Montana Trail-O-Vision. That's funny. I'm gonna have that on here, because I think that'll look dope. And that'll be a cool little gift as a thank you for checking us out. All right, so what I'm gonna do is turn off the camera for now, get these finished. It's 1, 2, this is the third one. I'm gonna cure it, gotta print out the Montang. I can't even say it without laughing, it's funny. It's clever. I gotta print out the Montang sheet next, and cure that one, and that's it. So probably when I pause this, I'll start cutting up those designs into their own individual packets, and then see how we're gonna pack it. We've sent out sheets before. People have ordered 10 or 20 at a time, usually different size images. This is the first time someone's ordered 4 sheets ganged up of a whole bunch of chest logos. So it might even be a little easier to ship, but we want to make sure that it's protected the whole time. So I'm going to cut them up into small pieces and figure out what's the best way to package them, so that if they throw another box on top of our package while it's getting shipped, it doesn't damage anything. So we want to make sure that the customers are getting what they ordered. All right, so I'm going to get to that. Turn the camera off for now, turn you back on when we're knocking out this onesie. All right, stay tuned. Okay, so we're going to try something out here. We're in the shop. We're printing out the last DTF sheet. However, I've taken one of the extras that I printed. So this is a pretty cool design. All right, so I've taken this extra design. It's not included on the sheet. The gang sheet still has 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So there are 11 designs on that sheet. This one's a little bit larger than the others. The rest usually some of them came out with 12, 16. I think this one is also 4, 16. So these are a lot larger maybe. But we're gonna make that little surprise for the customer here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this onesie prepped, and we're gonna put this on the onesie. We're gonna try and knock this out before that's done printing the last DTF sheet. So we'll get the pillow pad put inside the onesie. We'll heat press it real quick, get it ready, and we'll probably lint roll it. Gonna have to change the pressure on the heat press itself. This will be fine. Let's do it. Let's knock it out real quick. All right. So these heat pads, or these little cushions here rather, I got these all off of Amazon. And the idea is they help prevent scorch marks, especially on items that are small like this, where you only want a certain section of it to be heated or pressed. We don't want those buttons on the other side to get done. It is definitely ready. Okay, here we go. And then to make sure it stays in place, we're gonna use our heat transfer tape. Quick 5-second press now that it's all done. We shall see the verdict. There we go. Logo's back. We took that extra one, knocked out a cute little onesie with one of the logos. So that'll be going in there as a little gift, like a thank you. Literally a little gift. How cute is that, right? All right, so you'll start seeing some content from us in the future, doing some cool onesies. All right, so the last one is getting finished right now. I'm gonna set this onesie off to the side. If you wanna get some cool onesies done by us, you should already know by now how to reach out to us. If you don't, all the links are gonna be down below. So we can cut up the rest of these designs. The last one's gonna get powdered, tossed in, and we're done. We're out of here.